What's up, guys? It's Real Sense COG. Today we're here with Glenn Holdaway, trumpet player, horns jaw connection, you know. Do you want to just introduce yourself and talk about some of the bands you work with real quick?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Glenn Holdaway. I play trumpet for a lot of different bands. I guess the bands I've worked for mostly this year and last year would be Don Carlos, Stick Figure, Ayatera, Josh Heinrichs. I don't know, a bunch of different bands.
So many.
Yeah.
There's a whole list, you know. You guys just got to check him out and see all the work he's done. Check out his new single as well, Reggae Madical. That's a super sick tune right there. So.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, let's get started.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming down. How'd you get your start in music?
So, really how it all began was I was in 4th grade, and I grew up in like a very like conservative household, so my parents weren't really like into music. They just played like Christian music, and I wasn't into that at all. So I didn't really care about music until I heard the Beatles for the first time when I was in 4th or 5th grade, and that's like I had like an epiphany. It was like a magic moment for me, and I like fell in love with music, and I wanted to play the guitar. But there was no guitar at my school because I had to join like the school band, you know, and there was no guitar in that. There was only bass guitar, and I didn't really know what bass was. Like I just knew like guitar. So then I'm like playing the bass, and then like the teacher in that class like didn't really know anything about the bass. Like she didn't teach me anything. We only met once a week, and she'd be like, okay, this week we're gonna work with the saxophones. Next week I'll teach you how to play the bass. I was like, okay. Next week comes, she's like, we're going to work with the trumpets this week. Next week, I'll show you how to play the bass. And then, like, so on and so forth. She never taught me how to play anything. So, like, I, like, sat at the concert with my amp unplugged, like, pretending to play, like, super sad. And, like, I went home crying. I'm like, I'm going to quit. Like, I suck. Like, I can't play anything. And, like so then after that, like, I quit the bass. And I'm about to go into middle school now. And it's, like, right before 6th grade. And my dad comes home one day, and he's like, hey, look what I bought on eBay. And I was like, what is this? He's like, it's a trumpet. I was like, well, okay, cool. Like, why'd you buy that? He's like, because you're going to play it. And I was like, oh, I don't want to play a trumpet. He's like, well, too bad. I already bought it. So, yeah, that's how I started playing the trumpet. So I really hated it at first. Like, I did not like it. But after a while, like, I got into band and, like, just the atmosphere of, like, being in band and making the friends in band, that's kind of, like, where I started to enjoy the experience of, like, being in band. Not so much the trumpet, but like the experience of like being in a band, you know. I'd say I started actually like enjoying the instrument trumpet was when I got to high school, and that's my freshman year is like when I discovered reggae music, because prior to hearing reggae, like I was just really into like rock and roll and like classic rock, and like there's no horns in that music. It was like all guitars. Like I still wanted to be like a guitar player, low key, you know. And like I was like I wanted to be like a rock star. I wanted to be like AC/DC or something. But then I got to high school, and I met a different kind of rock star. I met Eric Hirschhorn, and he was 2 years he's still 2 years older than me, but at the time he was also 2 years older than me back then. And he was playing in like local reggae bands at the time. His band was called Premium Culture, and they used to play at D Piazza's, which is like a very like famous local venue in Long Beach. And that was my first experience with reggae. It was 2010, I believe. I was a freshman, and it was my first time seeing like horns used in a context other than like classical or jazz music. So it showed me that I was like, dang, like horns can be cool too. I can be like a rock star still, but with like horns, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's essential.
Yeah. So I started really listening to a lot of reggae after that, and like my earliest influences would be like Ukla the Mock, Groundation, John Brown's Body. Rudical Rhythm was like a big influence for me too. Yeah, I love those guys. And so that's kind of how it all began. And ever since then, like reggae just kind of became my passion, and became like my dream to play in a reggae band someday. And here we are now, living the dream, you know.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's super amazing, your whole journey and how it is, you know. Sometimes we don't always pursue music at first, but it's always there in our life, you know, and that's the base of it. That's this whole world, you know, roots reggae music and just the vibe.
Well, I actually didn't pursue music at all for a while. Like, after high school, I quit the trumpet entirely because I thought I was never gonna play again. You know, I was just kind of over it. You know. And then I took a year off and just didn't play music at all. I still loved reggae. Like I went to a bunch of concerts. Like I actually met Stick Figure for the first time during that time. That it was at the Roxy, and I'd met them like side stage, and that was kind of like the start of that that whole journey. But anyways, but I wasn't playing at all during that time. I was just like chilling, going to shows. But eventually, what happened was a friend of mine messaged me on Facebook. He's like, "Hey, do you want to like jam some reggae?" You know, like he wasn't in a band or anything. He was just literally like being like, "Do you just want to jam in my garage and play some reggae songs?" And like I just had like such a passion for reggae. I was like, "Well, I haven't played in a year, but I'll just give it a shot," you know.
There you go.
And then like so I went and played with him, and like it was cool. Like we just jammed in the garage, you know. But what happened afterwards is I went to Chipotle, and I was eating a burrito, and Ryan and David from Eureka Sound walked in, and David was wearing a shirt of the Expanders, and I was like, "Dude, like I love that band, like I love your shirt." And we started talking, and we were like kind of had a conversation. And they're like, blah, blah, like, "Oh, we're actually in a reggae band." I was like, "Oh, dude, I play trumpet." And they're like, "Dude, we've been looking for a trumpet player. Can you join our band?" So I hadn't played in an entire year. I just picked it up that same week, and already, like, I'm playing in my first reggae band.
That's super sick.
Yeah, it was like a dream come true. And I had, like, my first reggae gig, and, like, I couldn't believe it. And, yeah, Eureka Sound was the first reggae band I ever, like, played a gig with.
That's dope.
And then from there, it just kind of spread, like, it was like the bass player of that band was like, "Oh, I play in a different band. Come jam with us." And I played with them, and then they were like, "Oh, the guitar player of this band is the singer in another band. Like, come jam with us."
It just evolves from there.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's kind of how it all started. But it was never my plan to be a musician. Like I said, I never thought I was ever gonna play again, and life works in mysterious ways sometimes.
Definitely.
You know.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's a crazy story. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So you recently released your first single, Reggae-matical. Do you
Yes.
want to explain how that whole creative process and
Yeah.
everything behind that?
So, again, my brothers from Eureka Sound, Ryan Cordich is the producer of that song.
Shout out Eureka.
Shout out Eureka. I love those guys. Got
that's
their
family
bumper
vibes right
sticker
there.
on my car. Back when they were Eureka Roots dub. Little known
There
fact
you go.
about them. But anyhow, yeah, so Ryan is the producer of that track, and yeah, we were just in his garage, and we're like, "Hey, let's make a song."
There you go.
And we just kind of like made it one day, and
That's
and
sick. Just groove to it.
yeah, and that's it. Like it just kind of came about really suddenly, but we're like, "Wow, we actually made something good." And I was trying to think of what to title it, and I just gotten off tour with Marlon Asher. And I remember Marlon sometimes would be on stage, and like he'd be talking to the crowd. He's like, "Yeah, man, like hope everybody's having a nice day, a nice reggae-matical day." And I was like, "Damn, he just made like reggae into an adjective. That's like so dope."
Yeah.
So like I just like that was kind of like fresh in my mind at that time. So I was like, I should just name this song like the adjective form of reggae,
That's sick.
reggae-matical. I was like, how should I describe this song? Like it's a reggae-matical.
There you go. It explains it right there.
Yeah. So shout out to Marlon Asher as well, and
Oh yeah.
and shout
Big
out
up.
to Ryan, because I would have never been able to make that song without him, you know.
Definitely.
And yeah, and he's always been like me and him have been together since like basically our beginnings in reggae, and we're the same age. We both graduated high school the same year, and have kind of like developed along musically. Like he was a guitar player at first. Like he never played keys until one day, like because again, like we were talking before, like sometimes we just do things out of necessity.
Yep.
And like I said, we were all fresh out of high school, so the keyboard player at the time was like getting ready to go to college, and he went away to college, and we're like, shit, well now we don't have a keyboard player. So Ryan was just like, well, I guess I'm just gonna play keyboard, because David already played guitar.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how that whole started. Now Ryan's a phenomenal keyboard
Ryan
player.
kills it at keyboard.
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
really, really studied and like taken. I think Roy from the Expanders was like one of his big keyboard influences, and then
That's
also
cool.
going to like jazz school and stuff. Like him and David both have like
Yeah, they're
really,
good.
yeah, they inspire me too. You know, like to expand my own musical knowledge or whatever. You know.
Definitely. Check out their new
Yeah.
song, "Wanna Know." You know,
Oh yeah,
straight
I'm
fire.
on that one too.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
It's crazy how everything works together, you know, and everything just comes together how it's supposed to be. So it's cool.
It's usually how it works.
Yep. Do you plan on releasing any new music in the next coming months?
Yeah, actually, again, like really randomly, just 2 nights ago, me and one of my friends, like sometimes we get together and we just kind of make like dumb songs. We're just like joking, making stuff on like Logic and just kind of messing around. But then we actually made one that was like really cool. So I was like, dang, I think I'm actually gonna like make this into a song. So again, I talked to Ryan about it, and I was like, would you be down to get together and like make this into a song? So he's like, yeah. So I think I've got another one coming, or at least in the works. You know, like I've got it all like planned out in my mind. I've got like the demo track completed. So now I just got to go in and do it for real. And yeah, it's not a reggae song, but it's still gonna be sweet. You know, still gonna be
super excited to hear
still
that.
gonna be irate, dude.
Oh, always. You know, it's good. Who are some of your biggest inspirations? You know, when it comes to writing music.
Well, I think like my first inspiration would be like Eric Hirshhorn, because he's the reason why I'm even playing reggae at all.
Awesome.
So I've always looked up to him a lot.
Great dude.
Other musical inspirations. I don't know. I think really it's just like the people around me that inspire me a lot. Like my guy Warren Huang on the saxophone. He definitely inspired me a lot. Like he was there from the very beginning too. Like I met Ryan and David in that Chipotle, and at first the horn section was me and my younger brother. We were just 2 trumpet players in the horn section, but my brother, again, he was going away to college, so I was like, shit, like I need another horn player.
Yeah.
So I knew this guy Warren from Cal State Long Beach, which is where I went to school, and I just called him. I was like, hey, do you want to play some reggae? And he'd never really like heard reggae that much or like been into reggae, but he's like, yeah, sure. And like, and next thing we know, like we're both like the reggae horn guys playing a bunch. He plays with Tribal
That's
Seeds
awesome.
now. Yeah, but anyways, about Warren, yeah, like he's always inspired me a lot, and just shown me like not only what it's like to be a great musician, but to be like a true hustler. Like Warren's always making moves, and yeah, he's just very inspiring guy to be around. So
we see him like killing it, and all you guys killing it. I think you guys all come together amazing, and I think it's perfect right now for just this time, you know, and we all need to hear a little different selection, you know.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you would like to collaborate with that you haven't like been able to?
Collaborate with. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. There's a lot. Like I want to collaborate with everybody. Like I just love making music, you know. Definitely. But you know, actually, who I want to collaborate with is T-Pain. That's who I really want to play with. T-Pain. I want to play with Bruno Mars.
If you guys are watching, you know,
a lot of those guys. That'd be like my dream to make a song with T-Pain. I love T-Pain. And like, what's funny too is so the thing I like about him is like his use of background vocals. Like if you listen to any T-Pain song, like you have like obviously like him singing the melody, but also him doing all these background vocals which perfectly complement the melody. Yeah, and they're layered very like extensively. So I hear his background vocals, and it makes me think about like what is like the function of a horn section, and a lot of the times it is to like complement the melody as if a background vocal would. So actually listening to T-Pain and artists like that have like inspired my horn writing, but listening to their background vocals, like Laga Savea is another phenomenal Polynesian artist whose background vocals are like incredible. Yeah. That's how it inspires my horn playing too, because I hear how they're using those background vocals to complement the melody, you know, and it always comes back to that is like the melody and like serving the song.
Exactly.
Right?
That's cool.
Yeah, so I like artists like that. And yeah, I guess like as far as other people to collaborate with in the reggae world, like Damian Marley, I'd really like to do something with him.
For sure.
Yeah, like I'd like to play with Chronix again.
Chronix is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, those are probably some of my top ones I can think of.
Oh, yeah.
Ukla the Mock, that'd be a bucket list one. Love those guys.
That's been a reoccurring name on the show.
Yeah,
a lot of people love Ukla the Mock, so shout out to you guys for sure.
More, because they don't really play too much anymore, and I miss them.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, what do you think is your most memorable experience while being on stage?
Oh, okay. I would say definitely Reggae on the River was my most memorable one, because I had just turned 20 years old, and again, like I'd only been playing trumpet again for like maybe less than a year, and it already like the dominoes had like toppled, you know, like the chain of event was like really going at that point, and I met my mentor Fully Fullwood, And for those who might not know him, he's like a legendary Jamaican bass player. Played with Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, Dennis Brown, Gregory Isaacs, all those guys. And yeah, he really took me under his wing when I was 19, and started like mentoring me, and Tony Chin as well, who's another legendary musician, and fully, because I used to play with him every Sunday at this place, Don the Beachcomber, and he would be like, all right, I'm gonna get you on a big concert, I'm gonna get you on, and like everyone would always say that, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, okay, sure, I didn't really believe it, but then like he's like, I'm gonna get you on Reggae on the River, like here's the set list, and I was like, oh crap, okay, well, we'll see, I still kind of like had my reservations, but then like soon it's like a couple weeks before, and it's like, all right, we got the tickets, like here's the schedule, like we're actually doing it. I was like, oh my god. And I'll be honest, like I didn't think I was ready, because we were like the set list was insane. Like we were backing up 3 artists in a row, so it was like close to like 3 hours of music, like nonstop the whole time.
Wow. On
like a huge stage, like 10,000 people, like it was my first time doing a show that big, and I didn't think I was ready. So I was gonna sub it out, like I was gonna call a different trumpet player. I was like, I can't do this, like I'm not ready. I was gonna like give up, But I talked to my teacher about it, Andrew Carney. He's my trumpet teacher. And he's like, hey, so this Foley guy, like, does he know how you play? Like, has he heard you play before? I was like, yeah. He's like, do you think he knows any other trumpet players? I'm like, yeah, of course he does. He's like, okay, then why do you think he picked you? He's like, he picked you for a reason. He's like, he could have called somebody else. So like, why did he pick you? Like, don't doubt yourself. He did it for a reason. So I was like, well, I guess I'll do it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so we went to Reggae on the River, and it was crazy because on the van ride up to Reggae on the River, they're like, okay, so it was 3 artists, but it's actually going to be 6 artists. Wow. So we had to learn their songs like in the van. Like Tony was playing the guitar for me, and I had my trumpet like bouncing in the back seat, like trying to learn the songs.
Wow.
Yeah, and we went up, had like a rehearsal the day before, and only 3 of the artists even showed up to rehearsal. So we go on stage and we had to back these 6 artists, like many of which with no rehearsal, and just like wing it in front of like thousands of people, and it was like. It was an experience, but like after that whole thing happened, like that was the moment I decided I want to do music. I quit my job. I was working at In-N-Out, and the very next day I got back, quit my job, and I've been doing music for the past 4 years full time.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing how life just unfolds, and like perfecting your craft and getting everyone on board, to pursue the mission, and just roots reggae music. It's really awesome hearing your journey. What is your story behind Jaw Connection horns, and how did that all come about?
So I briefly kind of touched on that. Again, it was me and Warren, and at first it was me and my brother, but he went away to college, so I was like, I gotta get somebody, So I knew this guy Warren, like I'd barely met him, but I remember he was like a good player. He seemed like a cool dude, so I was like, well, I'll just call Warren. He seems like he's down, and then just from then, like we formed this bond, and started playing with all these different people, and. We did a lot of things over the years, recorded a lot of songs, like traveled a lot together, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, and now we kind of have done different things now, but he'll always be my musical brother, shout out to Warren, and and he's actually an excellent producer now. That's kind of the next phase of the things that he's been going into, he's been in the studio nonstop, has his own little home studio with a lot of gear. And one thing about Warren is when he puts his mind something, he's all in. So when he first started playing reggae, when we first started doing that together, he was all in, studied, and now he knows everything there is to know about reggae, and now with producing it's the same thing, all in, studying, and he's gonna be an excellent producer. So
that's cool. Yeah, that's just what you got to do. You just got to keep working at it, and then it'll all come together eventually. Is there any advice you would give to aspiring musicians trying to do what you do?
Yeah. Well, I guess for any musician, I think the number one thing is a lot of people think talent is the most important thing, but talent is important, but I think it's really only 10% of the equation. I think for me, the most important thing is being on time, being dependable, and by dependable I mean not only like if I call you that you'll answer and be able to do it. But like if you like come to rehearsal that you're gonna know all the music, you know, that you're gonna be prepared, like that's like dependable, you know, or even like it comes like it sounds so obvious, but like you'd be surprised by the amount of people that don't do this, where it's like hey, we're having a rehearsal, and then like the day of, they're like, oh yeah, I can't make it, or like they show up and they don't know the songs. It's just like simple things like that. Like if you do that, you'll be like getting a lot of gigs, because people want to work with people like that. You know, you don't have to be like the best musician in the world. Like especially when I was first starting out, like I was not that good of a trumpet player. Like not at all, but I was always like, if I showed up to something, like everyone knew like I was gonna have my shit together, I was gonna be on time, I was gonna do everything I needed to do to like get the job done. Like I was gonna have a good attitude, I was gonna be like easy to work with, like not cause any drama, not like get too fucked up or whatever. Like it's like
Perfect,
it's just a job, you know.
yeah, dude, you have to treat it like a job, and people like it gets overlooked, you know, because it's so much fun. It's like, yeah, music is fun, but also it's a job, you know. Or if you want it to be a job, like if you want to be a professional musician, then you have to be a musician who acts professionally. You know?
Exactly.
So that's kind of the way I see
Words
that.
to live by right there.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys are all listening to that at home.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What are some ways that people can support you in your music?
You could support me by streaming my music. You could support me by I don't know, just listening to music with horns in it. Like I always support like all the people who play horns, because like the way I see it is, if like more bands have horn sections, or more people who are fans of horns, then like the more work that I'm gonna get as a result of that, you know, because like if there's a demand for it, then like bands will do it, you know. So if you want to support me, then just like listen to a lot of music with horns, like show your support for horns in reggae music, or music in general. And
awareness.
I would say that's probably the best thing you can do.
You guys really got to check him out on his new single, Reggae Medical. It's really awesome, so thank you so much. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out through your whole music journey? I know you kind of covered that.
Yeah, I'd say for reggae, well, and even just as like, 'cause I think like your early 20s are such like a pivotal point in like every young adult's life. And I could say like two of my biggest mentors during that has been Jagun, who's a Brazilian reggae artist, who I started playing with him when I was 18 at the time. And this is like when I first started like playing again. Like I think I'd only been playing again for like a couple months, and he picked me up and me and Warren, and he's like, you're gonna be my horn section. And he really like showed us the ropes of how to you know, not only like be a great horn section, and like how to perform, you know, 'cause that's a whole other art too, like how to perform and how to have like stage presence, and I don't know, be like an entertainer. But also like he showed me like a lot of the things I just talked about, like in terms of professionalism, but also like with money, you know, if you're a front man, like he always put his guys first. You know, like sometimes like he wouldn't get paid, but he would make sure that we were taken care of, you know, and like putting the musicians first. And like that's what has always made me like loyal to him, you know, because I've known like how much he genuinely like cares about his musicians. So Jagun has definitely been a huge influence on me. And then Fully Fullwood, who's someone who I had mentioned earlier. But again, like it's not only like the music and the history and all the lessons that he's taught me, but just about life, you know, being like a good person, and just having a good heart and treating people well. And I'd say like those are the most important lessons that I've taken from those people, you know.
That's super amazing, though, like all the connections you have with these amazing people, and all of them are very different in their own way, and they're true inspirations to you, and it's really awesome. And I think it really shows in your music, and it's super cool that we have a pleasure, you know, of talking to you right now, and just this is really awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me out here. And
thank you.
I want to give a shout out to if anyone watching would like to see some live music. I've been doing something every Thursday in Los Alamitos. Just message me for more information about that. But we do different styles of music every week. For instance, this week is actually going to be Detour Posse, who are a very well-known reggae backing band. Like I guess I'd say their primary artist that they've worked for is Barrington Levy, and but they're very prolific musicians on like as individuals as well, you know. But they'll be playing this Thursday tomorrow, and then we just have like a bunch of different styles. Like we've done like Motown nights, rock nights,
That's awesome.
like funk nights, Latin nights, a bunch of different things. So if you guys ever want to hear some live music, hit me up and I'll send you the information for that. And yeah, it's always
Sounds
good
awesome.
to keep live music. It's all socially
yes.
distant, you know. Don't want no Rona. And yeah.
There you go. Oh yeah.
Thursdays on the Block on Facebook.
If you guys wanted more information, hit them up. If you weren't a musician, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
I'd probably still be working at In-N-Out. Honestly, I loved that
Hey,
job.
In-N-Out.
I really loved that job. Like I was like I
love
cried
that
the
food.
day I quit. I was sad. Like I loved that job. So I was kind of planning on doing that. Also, like my family, they were really like pushing me to like be a lawyer or something, but like and I almost did at one point. Like I was like studying for the LSAT, like working at a law firm, and 'cause it's like, yeah, you're gonna make a bunch of money, blah blah. But dude, my heart was like not in it at all, and I could tell it was just gonna make me miserable. So I bailed on that, and I'm really glad. Like, I mean, it's nice to have like hundreds of thousands of dollars, but not for the cost of your happiness, you know. And I always felt like if I had gone a route like that, or like, and even teaching, like after I bailed on the lawyer thing, like, oh well, you can still do music, but you have to be like a music teacher, you know.
Yeah.
Because then like you'll have like a real job, you know, you'll have like benefits and blah. But like I always felt like if I were to just do something like that and play it safe, like I'd be giving up, you know, I'd be selling myself short, and I'd always have that like thing in the back of my mind, like, well, what if, you know, what if I had just stuck with it, like what would have happened? And I'd rather like try all this and fail and then like go back and do all that than just like give up before I even try, you know. And honestly, like I really feel like this whole year has been like a huge transformation year for me, because like I can't just be like a trumpet player anymore, you know, because there's no gigs, like there's not a lot of work right now. So I've had to like make my own gigs, like the thing I just mentioned, like Thursdays on the Block, and like becoming like a front man and like doing my own things. And yeah, and like still doing the trumpet sideman stuff on as well, you know. But yeah, like I guess like stepping into my own role and just like hustling and like making it happen. And I don't know, it just kind of showed me that like I made the right decision and that I'm on the right path, and that, you know, I think everything's going to be all right, you know. But all that fear is like so crippling. And like another advice I would say for like up and coming musicians or people who want to do it is like, don't let the fear stop you, you know. Because like there's so many times where I like almost gave up, you know, just because I was like afraid, you know. But you gotta get past that, because really like a lot of times the only person holding you back is yourself, you know. As ironic and like cliche as that sounds, it's like, oh, you gotta follow your dreams, man. But it's like, I think for me it's more like you have to like shut off that fear, you know.
Definitely. Hell yeah. Well, thank you for coming out. We really appreciate it. That was like an awesome way to wrap up the interview right there. If you guys want to, make sure to check out Reggae on the Block, correct?
Thursdays on the Block. This week will be Reggae on the Block, though.
There you go. So this week, Reggae on the Block. Make sure you check it out. Hit him up if you guys want some more information on that. Check out his brand new single, Reggae Matical, out now, all digital platforms. And big things coming. So bless up. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.